Everyone is born with a purpose, an assignment given to them by God. There is always a burden in the heart of man to fulfill what God has deposited in his heart. The fear is not about the weight of God's assignment, rather, it is the process of fulfilling that bothers everyone. The worst thing that can happen to someone with a great vision is moving with great speed on the wrong path. Many have given up on their way to success because they discovered that they have strolled down a different path all along, and the thoughts of starting afresh weakens their soul. While growing up as toddlers, you were not allowed to walk alone to the park. Someone needs to be by your side, holding your hands to give you direction. Your dad also dropped you at school and returns to pick you up. All these happened because you were a kid who never knew the right path to take. As you grew older, your mind evolved. You were mature to know the wrong and right. You never lost your way to the park. You walked confidently to see a friend. You could take a taxi to college. You never lost direction of your destination because you were once guided by someone at a point in time. Many have toiled on the ground, served at the wrong places, all because they were travelers searching for the right path. They believe that before getting the best, they must have to go round the circle of life. This belief has made many promising destinies stagnant and unfruitful. They are always on the move but yet unfruitful. You will hear a man say he has tried so many businesses, he has ventured into acquiring different skills, volunteered for different organizations, yet he still stands unfruitful. He knows within him that he is not on the right path. I have heard of cases where a student, having graduated from a prestigious university, decided to start afresh in a different department, reason being that he had wasted 5 or 4 good years studying the wrong course. He spent valuable time in the wrong department. You may ask, how come he never met a counselor to guide him? Why did he discover late? The answer to that is this: he was indecisive, not knowing what he wanted for himself. His friends were his motivation. Whatever they chose, he followed suit. He felt that's all about life. But his eyes were open after his mistake. He was lucky that age was on his side, but other people in his shoe may be unlucky. They may fall into depression considering the time wasted. Hence the reason why you need to be sure of the path you tread. I would like to share my story with you, but before that, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Like, comment, and share with your friends. Also, turn on your notification button to get alerted when we post inspiring videos. Thank you and God bless you. While growing up, I was indecisive as regards purpose and destiny. I never knew what I wanted to become. Several thoughts flooded my mind whenever we were asked this particular question in church: what do you want to be in future? I never raised my hand because I was confused. My friends will stand boldly and say what they had in mind, but I was mute. I was thrown aback by their boldness. I imagined how they will look in their choice professions. That mentality and attitude affected me to the point that all I felt I had was my talent of singing. I chose to stick close to music, not because of my love for it. Rather, I found solace there. It looked as though the world was coming on me, flooding my heart with questions. Back then at grade school, my friends and classmates will boldly join clubs that relate to their choice profession. I only stand amazed at their confidence. After grade school, I was still indecisive. In fact, at this point, it became intense. The pressure was heavy. I knew that whatever I settled for in college will definitely have a great impact in my life. My parents were not left out of this. They suggested several professions, but none caught my attention. The thought of meeting a counselor for guidance was not a choice. I felt I may be cajoled to pick anything that relates to my skill at that time. It was time to get a degree. At this point, I had to go for what suits my personality. I had already made up my mind to keep my certificate after graduation, and all I went through, I trusted God too. I never left him out of my business. That gave me an inexplainable confidence to keep moving. In the course of my study, especially after my 2 years in university, I began discovering some hidden talents and passion in me which I never knew I had. That was the first miracle for me. First of all, my course of study required that I read wide and share knowledge on subjects related to man. That was also a means to discover and develop a talent in me. I had a taste of what inner peace felt like, though it was in a small measure, but that was a push for me because I'd never felt that way in a long time. I was sure that there will be a bright light at the end of the tunnel for me. It was time to write a thesis on my choice topic. I had a lot to write on. Thinking about what to write wasn't an issue. My mind was already enlightened. I never found anything difficult, even when others complained of the stress. I find joy learning all I should know. While writing my thesis and concluding my program at the university, my understanding was enlightened the more. It looked as though a veil was taken off my eyes. For the first time in a long time, I could place my hand on my purpose. I felt it strongly to the point that I shared my vision to those who cared to listen. My thoughts during my meditation were centered on my passion, my purpose, and vision. I felt a burning urge to get started. I was happy, despite knowing the cost of fulfilling what I had written down in my diary. My dreams became an exposition. I always knew what step to take at every point. That was one of the means I received direction. And the conviction afterwards was another push. After graduation, I never struggled to get a job because I knew what I wanted. I worked in an institution where my desires were gradually fulfilled. I knew I had something to do with teenagers and youths going through life's battles. There was one thing I noticed which still is present now, and that is I had ease in carrying out my desires. I never struggled to help anyone. It was as easy as anything. Without doubt, I knew I was treading the right path. Not just that, I was walking with God by my side. That's what spurred boldness in me. Beloved, there is no greater joy than knowing your purpose, walking in it, and gradually fulfilling it with God by your side. This could be your story too. You may have been in the valley of indecision just like I was. Your thoughts are not aligning with what you intend doing in life, but I'm here to give you few signs to show you are threading the right path. One sign that shows you're on the right path is when you experience peace. There is no other assurance needed in life than peace of mind, not as the world gives, but an unexplainable one that only emanates from doing the will of God. This peace does not just come only when there is no challenges. No, it stands out because even in the midst of a storm, you are still. Listen, friend, God also uses the attributes of peace to guide His children. There is no better way than that. When confusion steps in, when you feel discouraged to move on, but you still feel peace, that's a good sign that there is light at the end of the tunnel for you. God communicates through our spirit. That is why when the flesh gets tired of pushing, your spirit keeps reminding you of the promises of God for your life. There are times you struggle with your body to carry out an assignment, but in the midst of that, your spirit is not down. Beloved, if you experience an unexplainable peace in your quest to fulfill purpose despite the challenges, that's your assurance to greatness. This is true because the brain is fashioned to detect danger and become afraid. But there is an exception when your heart is not shaken over life's battles. So keep moving, overlook every challenge, and keep moving. Another sign you are on the right path is when things begin to align for your progress. No one can succeed as a lone ranger. All resources needed for your success are all around you. When you are on the right track, all the resources you need to forge ahead will begin to fall in place as you progress. Know this, when you are in the radar of God's will, before you ask, things will fall into place. Mind you, things might get tough in the process. That's part of your story because nothing great comes easy and great people are not void of challenges. Your assurance will remain that all things are working out for your good. I have come to discover that most people who have fallen into depression are not void of good ideas. Rather, they lack resources to fulfill them. With this, whenever you are blessed with resources and great ideas, that's a good push. Such things don't come by easily. Dear friend, don't hesitate to walk in your purpose. Not all resources last forever. Utilize what you have now and expect more open doors. Life is in stages. You cannot access the next stage without utilizing your present resources. You cannot graduate to a greater phase without completing your present task. This is to encourage someone who is lost in the valley of confusion. Hold on to the voice of God. The book of Psalms chapter 32 verse 8 says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. This verse is an assurance that God is with you. So walk in your passion and purpose with confidence, and at the end, you will laugh best. Hallelujah.